Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Aisha Tariq Sethi, and I'm so delighted to host this webinar today with our distinguished guest Amina Khan and talk about the relationship between nutrition and mental health. So I hope आप लोगों का रमज़ान अच्छी तरीके से गुजर रहा है और I hope आप लोग अपनी डाइट का भी ख्याल रख रहे हैं. So the objective of this webinar is basically to draw the link between nutrition and mental health. Now usually mental health challenges जब लोग face करते हैं अमूमन, so the typical approach is obviously to seek a counselor, seek a psychologist, and then try to figure out what therapies need to be done in order to solve with the problem, whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, or any form of mental health issue. However, usually equation में से जो हम लोग चीज़ भूल जाते हैं, that is the importance of diet and what we are eating day in and day out and its impact on how we think and how we feel on a day-to-day basis. So before we jump into the topic, I would briefly like to introduce our guest Amina Khan. So Amina
Assalamualaikum.
Khan, Amna is here and she's excited to speak to all of you. So, just a quick intro about who Amna Khan is. So, Amna Khan is a certified health and wellness coach, a certified nutritionist, and an employee health and wellness consultant to some of the leading multinationals. Amna helps people reverse and prevent type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, and other ailments with evidence based approaches to nutrition, exercise, and stress reduction. She has provided wellness advisory to reputable multinationals across Pakistan. So, Amna, I'm so delighted that you're here with us today. Can you
Thank
just
you, Aisha. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you
yes,
for
and
having me.
very happy to have you here. So, we'll just start with the basic 101 of this topic. मुझे बताएं diet और brain chemistry का relationship क्या है?
अच्छा, सो देखें, हर रिलेशनशिप जो है वो हमारे गट से आता है. सो दीज I'll start with this and then we'll dive into this during our conversation. So you feel these emotions of anxiety and stress and emotional upheavals going inside your brain, and you wonder कि क्या करें, जल्दी से साइकाइट्रिस्ट को दिखाएं, क्या हो रहा है, एंजाइटी हो रही है, पैनिक अटैक्स हो रहे हैं. बट दे हैव टू फर्स्ट अंडरस्टैंड, दे हैव टू लुक बैक, स्टॉप, ब्रेक एंड सी कि वो खा क्या रहे हैं and उनकी gut कैसे. So it's all happening in the gut. So all these anxieties and emotional upheavals and stress, it all culminates in the gut. So if your gut is healthy, your brain is healthy. So first you need to understand that. And also it's a holistic approach to health, to overall health. मतलब आप सिर्फ ये नहीं कर सकते कि जी आप सारा दिन ट्रेडमिल पे 2 घंटे एक्सरसाइज कर रहे हैं और कुछ भी खा रहे हैं, जंक फूड भी खा रहे हैं, एंड यू आर नॉट माइंडलेसली, यू आर रनिंग ऑन द ट्रेडमिल एंड यू आर ईटिंग व्हाटएवर इज कमिंग योर वे, यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू लूज दैट वेट. Intermittent fasting, these fad diets, all of these are just gimmicks, they are not sustainable. तो मेरा काम है कि जी आपको एक सस्टेनेबल पाथ पे चला दें ताकि आप अच्छी हेल्थ एंजॉय करें और लॉन्जेविटी आपके पास हो, आपकी लंबी सेहतमंद जिंदगी हो. तो वो कैसे हो सकती है? वो तभी हो सकती है कि आपका जो आपकी जो गट है उसको आप हेल्दी रखें. एंड द गट इज ओनली दिस मच. देयर आर ट्रिलियंस एंड मिलियंस ऑफ सेल्स सिटिंग इनसाइड आवर माइक्रोबायोम, which is our gut. And if we do not empower them and do not feed them well, we are in for a roller coaster. And that is what is most of the people are facing. If they eat well, they're going to perform well. If they eat well, they're going to sleep well. So everything, it's, as I said, it's a holistic, everything is connected. आप सिर्फ एक चीज करके ये पा नहीं सकते, अच्छी सेहत पा नहीं सकते.
So, I remember coming across this book, The Gut Brain Connection, and it actually scientifically lays out कि कौन से gut bacterias होते हैं, microbes होते हैं which actually affect brain health. Can you
Right.
go a bit deeper into the science and the biology of the gut brain connection to make it more real for everyone?
Okay. So basically, I'll put it in easy, in an easy form so that everybody can understand. देखें, जैसे मैंने शुरू में कहा, हमारी gut has a lot of cells. ठीक है? We When we fall ill and when illness hits us, those cells are not working in an optimal form. So my job is to basically get your gut healthy so that you are mentally healthy, and then you can perform, you can sleep, you can work, you can enjoy your life. And also I wanted to pinpoint the most important thing between gut and brain connection is that it releases serotonin. It is the gut releases serotonin. You must have heard of this happy hormone. So when we are stressed or panicked or anxious, we are low on serotonin. हमारे डॉक्टर्स क्या करते हैं, जल्दी से सेरोक्सैट लिख के दे देते हैं कि जी आप उसके सेरोटोनिन लेवल्स को बढ़ा दें. ठीक है, in some cases, yes, that does happen. We are not doctors, so we're not authorized to give that medicine, but we do it through food. So what you need to do is that you need to feed the gut, so that in order to feed it well, your serotonin levels will rise and you will be happy. That is the end goal. So आप क्या खिलाएंगे? आप प्रोबायोटिक्स खाएंगे, आप स्पिनिच, वेजिटेबल्स, गुड फैट्स. मतलब आप ये नहीं कर सकते कि आप एक फूड ग्रुप को निकाल दें. You have to have um, a mix of all the three food groups, which are proteins, carbohydrates and fats. अगर आप एक चीज को निकाल देंगे तो उसके 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 जो नेगेटिव इफेक्ट्स आपकी हेल्थ पे आएंगे. some illness will crop up somewhere sometime. So you have to make sure that आपकी जो meals हैं वो सारे फूड ग्रुप्स को कवर कर रही हैं. प्रोटीन भी कर रही है, कार्ब्स भी कर रही है, कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स भी कर रही है. और सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी बात आपकी रात की नींद. 7 to 9 hours is what you need. Not sleeping at 1 o'clock and waking up at 10 in the morning. You have to sleep by 11 o'clock. Make sure everything is done. I know a lot of people suffer कि जी रात को नींद नहीं आती. क्यों नहीं आती? अच्छा, या तो आप स्ट्रेस कर रहे हैं, और या आप टैबलेट से खेल रहे हैं, फोन से खेल रहे हैं. वो जो लाइट है, दैट डिस्टर्ब्स योर स्लीप साइकिल. फिर लोग मेलेटोनिन पॉप करते हैं. देखिए, आई एम नॉट इन फेवर ऑफ एनी पिल्स. I only give natural medicines to my patients, and which I will discuss in your webinar, so that everybody listening can benefit and do those things and feel healthy. So things like having a magnesium supplement at night. If you can't sleep, take that 1 hour before you go to bed. Your body will relax and you'll be able to sleep. Make sure that, are you drinking enough water during the day? I'm not saying gulp glasses down, but keep a bottle. Take 2 sips. Get up from your chair every half an hour for 3 minutes. Make sure you take a round of the office, or if you're working from home, just leave the laptop, just take a round and come back. You need the movement. आप कुछ भी कर लें और मूवमेंट नहीं है, not, it's not going to work. So that's why in the beginning I said कि जी holistic approach होनी चाहिए. You have to look after the food, you have to look after the movement and toxic elements, which are these toxic relationships that people have and they can't get rid of. I have to address this issue, because what happens is कि जब हम हेल्थ हिस्ट्री अपने पेशेंट्स की करते हैं, दे आर वेरी रिलक्टेंट. दे जस्ट पुट इट अंडर द स्लाइड इट अंडर द कार्पेट, वेदर इट्स अ हस्बैंड और अ कजन और अ सिस्टर और अ or a friend who basically is downloading on them behind and आपके दिमाग के पीछे वो दोस्त फोन करके अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स आपके ऊपर डाउनलोड कर रहा है. और एंड नॉट रियलाइजिंग, आप obviously you're a good person, you want to help them, and they're very dear to you, but you have to sometimes take control and look after your own self, because you are the most important person, and you're not realizing कि उनकी जो टॉक्सिटी है वो सारी आप में ट्रांसफर हो रही है. और उस
अच्छा,
टॉक्सिक, सॉरी.
Sorry, please go on. I just had a follow-up question with regard to something you really mentioned earlier, which is very. I think people know very less about it. What are called good carbs, or
Yeah.
because carbs. So I think हमारी society में एक बहुत ignorance है regarding what are good carbs and what are not the good carbs, and often people end up mixing the two together, I have noticed. So if you can just share, like, what are the healthy carbs and what are
Okay.
not so
So
healthy
the
carbs.
healthy carbs are whole grain. चक्की
Okay.
का आटा, नो वाइट फ्लावर. मैदे से हमारी मोस्ट ऑफ हमारे बेकरी आइटम्स, हमारा प्रोसेस्ड फूड जो हम बाजार से पैकेट के अंदर जो चीज़ खरीदते हैं वो सारी प्रोसेस होती है और वो मैदे से बनी होती है. और यहाँ पे आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू go down that route where I don't want to condemn these big companies that are selling processed food with the big label on the cereal saying whole grain. But if you actually turn the packet around and see the nutrition value, there's very little whole grain and there's more flour, which is maida. So वो क्या करते हैं, उसमें बहुत कम व्हीट जम होता है और बहुत ज्यादा मैदा होता है और वो मॉल्टेड होते हैं. उनको शुगर कोट किया जाता है विद कॉर्न सिरप एंड मेपल सिरप एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट टू. अगर आपने देखा हो कि कोई भी सीरियल आप सीरियल आयल से खरीदें सुपरमार्केट से, वो मीठा होगा, वो it's all sweetened. So that is where you're getting your sugar. It's full of sugar. So don't do that. Make sure that in the morning आप सोच रहे हैं कि आप कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स ले रहे हैं लेकिन आप जंक ले रहे हैं बिकॉज वो सारा मीठा है. और आप सुबह ओट्स लें, ब्राउन ब्रेड लें, मल्टीग्रेन ब्रेड लें, सावरडो ब्रेड लें, and have it with an egg, with protein in the morning, or with some cottage cheese. A lot of people don't like egg. चलो आप cottage cheese ले लें, peanut butter ले लें. There are so many options, nuts and seeds, which I'm going to emphasize later on. But carbs में आप, you have to switch to whole grain if you want to be healthy and you want to lose your weight. Packaged food, flour, pizza once a week is great, but it can't be a perpetual meal plan in your day. So you have to take control and start. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So one more thing, because I think since we're part of the Pakistani society, and there's certain cultural practices, and there's certain ways in which food is like cooked at home. So I think one common misconception is regarding जो meat के ऊपर जो fat की layer होती है. There's a lot of misconception regarding whether it is healthy or not, and there are a lot of households that believe that these are good fats जिसको आप चर्बी कहते हैं, कि these are good fats and these are healthy and they should be eaten. So can you just like
This is
share
just
some
pure
insights on
ignorance, Aisha. This is pure ignorance. So, obviously, the good and healthy fats are walnuts, fish, olive oil, and avocados. And of course, meat contains fish. We are saying that, sorry, the meat contains good, I mean, contains fat, not good fat, but fat. Yes, we need it. That's why we recommend कि आप two times a week fish लें, 2 times a week fish meat लें, और 3 times a week आप चिकन लें. और उसके साथ आप स्टीम्ड, ग्रिल्ड या बेक्ड वेजिटेबल्स का इस्तेमाल करें. नॉट कि जी आपने वो सारी वेजिटेबल जो हैं वो फ्राई कर दी. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट लिटिल ऑयल and lots of vegetables. Your half your plate should be of vegetables, and a palm size of a tennis ball का आपका प्रोटीन का पोर्शन होना चाहिए. So we have to, and most of all, one helping. एक चांस मिलेगा आपको, आप एक दफा अपनी प्लेट भरेंगे. When you do that, then you are 70% full and 30% empty. So you have to be mindful. Matlab, you can't eat while you're doing 10 different things. Close your gadgets, chew your food to a count of 32. Do you know that Ayurveda practices advise us? They are the most healthy practices. And they advise us कि आप 32 times, तो आप सोचें आपने मुंह में नवाला किया और फौरन हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि निगल
that?
लेते हैं. दैट इज हमारा गट वो प्रोसेस ही नहीं कर सका, तभी कॉन्स्टिपेशन होगी, तभी पेट में क्रैम्प्स होंगे, तभी acidity होगी, because gut will not be, cannot process such I mean food taken in like this, gulped. So you chew your food, you close your mobile phones or tablets and sit down at the table, and enjoy your meal with one helping, and then just get up and then take a gap of 1.5 hours. If you just do these 2 3 things that I'm mentioning, I can give it to you in writing. You're going to start feeling energetic, less fatigue, and most of all, vitamin D levels have to be normal. Or everybody listening should get their vitamin D levels checked, because क्या होता है कि chronic illnesses जो हैं वो आपको पकड़ लेती हैं अगर आपका vitamin D level जो है वो insufficient हो. So you must have every year, choose a time of the year, every Ramazan or every like every April or every May, you decide and you choose and you get yourself tested. And if you're insufficient, you can either email me, I can tell you, or you take a mega dose and make sure that your vitamin D levels are over 30. ये बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है. क्रिटिकल इलनेसेस लाइक टाइप 2 डायबिटीज, कैंसर, हार्ट डिजीज, ब्लड प्रेशर, ये भी इनकी रिस्क बढ़ जाती है अगर आपकी विटामिन डी कम है. सो
Oh, I didn't know that.
सो दैट इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और ये जो आपको ऑफिस से आके एकदम आपकी एनर्जी लेवल्स लो हो जाते हैं, आपको इतनी फटीग होती है, उसमें भी आपको विटामिन डी लेवल्स आपके कम होंगे. आप चेक कराएं और आपको you'll be able to see where you are. And especially now in Ramzan, you need to boost your immunity. And how do you boost your immunity? You take natural things. You take haldi. आजकल fresh haldi
Yeah,
available है market में. 1 teaspoon आप हल्दी लें, but it's not going to work unless and until you put some peppercorns in it. You crush some black peppercorns, you mix it with that 1 tablespoon of grated haldi, warm water, 1 cup of warm water, and take it first thing in the morning. जब आप सहरी पे उठें तो सबसे पहले आप वो गर्म पानी की भी इंटेक हो रही है, हल्दी की भी हो रही है, बिकॉज हल्दी के अंदर एक ऐसा मिनरल है
yeah,
जिसको कर्क्यूमिन कहते हैं, और वो हम इट्स लाइक एन एंटी इन्फ्लामेटरी. जितनी
that's true.
इन्फ्लेमेशन आपकी बॉडी में है वो इंस्टेड ऑफ टेकिंग दीज पिल्स आप इसका इस्तेमाल करें. जिन लोगों को ब्लड प्रेशर है वो रात को सोने से पहले तुख मलंगा, इट्स कॉल्ड
Yes.
basil seed.
Oh, Tukh Malanga is a lifesaver. It's
It's
amazing.
good for the gut, it's good for
Yeah.
for your blood pressure. And also people who have parents who suffer from blood pressure, garam pani mein half a teaspoon of cinnamon, fresh cinnamon powder, not the packet wali, because वो सारी mixed होती है and it's not pure. आप अच्छे से पंसारी से पहले तो वो दालचीनी लें और गर्म पानी में पिएं, and you'll see the changes in your labs in 2 months.
Yeah. And I think the trick lies in being able to do all of this consistently. And now that you have brought up like turmeric is so good for the bones. And if you, let's say, if you happen to like uh, hurt yourself, अगर आपको कोई injury भी होती है, so just drinking turmeric with warm milk, अगर आपको even
रात
कोई
को.
muscle tissue भी अगर damage होता है, it has very strong healing and inflammatory anti-inflammatory powers, as you just mentioned.
Absolutely. Yes, yes,
And
totally.
this is a hidden gem, and for people
Bilkul.
who want
Well said.
to maintain a balanced body and nutrition, and they're scared of like these long term illnesses like cancer and all of that, तो उसमें वो सारी properties हैं which actually help to prevent all of that. So
अच्छा, और
yeah.
आयशा एक और चीज पे आई एम सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू, बट आपके जो लोग सुन रहे होंगे, एंड आई एम श्योर दे आर ऑल वर्किंग पीपल, एंड they have to realize that if they don't feed their their gut well now, they're going to have serious issues later. So it's better, I'm not saying कि अपने आप को डिप्राइव करें, सब कुछ खाएं, लेकिन कंट्रोल करके खाएं, उसके पोर्शंस कम करें, मूवमेंट करें. अगर लिफ्ट है ऑफिस में तो स्टेयर्स लें. डोंट बी डिपेंडेंट ऑन एनीबडी. अपना you should be active enough for you to perform your best. So take the stairs, park your car far, take that walk to wherever
Yeah.
you're going, and make sure there's some kind of movement. आप घर में भी यूट्यूब का अपने लिए आधा घंटा जरूर निकालें, बिकॉज अगर मूवमेंट नहीं होगी तो बाकी चीजें अगर आप कर भी रहे हैं तो उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है.
So, आमना मुझे थोड़ा सा बताएं कि now that we are going to the holy month of Ramzan, and before Ramzan a lot of people have really ambitious goals that we were going to fix our diet and we will lose weight and we will do this and we will do that. But we know that in reality what really happens at iftar time are like plenty of samosas and pakoras and like fried items, and in very heavy series with parathas, after which people immediately go to sleep. And then
Hmm.
instead of like achieving those weight loss goals, usually uska opposite impact ho raha hota hai. So can you please guide our viewers how they can manage their diet during Ramzan?
Okay, so very simple. I hope they have a pen and a paper, because I will exactly tell them what they need to do. So basically, for iftari, they should open their roza with one khajur only, and some little chana, or even a samosa. Okay, and a bowl of fruit. A bowl of fruit is imperative because that will give you all the enzymes, the minerals, the vitamins, and will keep you fuller. And then you must pause for an hour and a half. फिर आप उठ जाए मेज से, मतलब आहिस्ता आहिस्ता खाएं और 1 घंटे का गैप दें. उसके बाद प्लीज गो इन टू अ लाइट डिनर, जैसे कि मूंग की दाल की खिचड़ी आपने बना ली एक दिन, आई एम जस्ट, या आपने हरीसा बना लिया या हलीम बना ली, विद लेस ऑयल ऑफ कोर्स, बिकॉज इसमें आपको प्रोटीन भी मिल रही है, और आपको इसमें ये सारी प्लांट प्रोटीन है, और इसमें आपको कई लोग हरीसा गोश्त से बनाते हैं, कई चिकन से बनाते हैं, कई हलीम चिकन से बनाते हैं. So I'm talking here about chicken halim. It is a very, very nutritious meal in Ramzan. Harisa, halim, khichdi, all of these things. तो आपने वो 1.5 घंटे का pause ले लिया, उसके बाद you go into a light dinner, and uske baad, if you're awake the whole night, then I have a list of snacks that I will guide you. But if not, then that is it. Uske baad, keep sipping ginger tea, green tea, till you fall off to sleep. Uske baad, and movement, आप इफ्तारी से पहले आधा घंटा
Yeah.
करना ही करना है आपने. देर इज नो, मतलब, और आप, देर इज नो वे आउट, मतलब या तो ये आप कीटो कर लें, और ये कभी बनाना डाइट, आई हियर ऑल दीज काइंड्स ऑफ साउथ बीच, और इंटरनेट से निकाल ली जीएम डाइट, सो दीज आर नॉट सस्टेनेबल. एंड वही होता है कि वो 2 महीने करते हैं, बड़े खुश होते हैं, पानी का वेट सारा निकल जाता है, एंड देन दे कम बैक एंड द वेट इज नॉट, it's double of what they had lost. So might as well take the sustainable route and feel healthy.
And
and
what about
and
seri? What you recommend? Because some people classify having seri as midnight snacking, because think about it, you're having something at like 4:30 a.m. or 4:45 a.m., which
yes,
is substantially heavy, right? And then you're going to
right.
sleep. So technically, the stomach interprets is at midnight snacking. So how do you recommend to manage that?
Okay, so in the morning you should have a small bowl of yogurt, and not wake up and start drinking your tea or coffee, because that contains caffeine, and that creates cortisol in your body, and that is the stress hormone. So you never start your day with tea or coffee. You always coat the stomach and then have that 1 cup of tea or coffee, firstly. Secondly, you start with some yogurt, with some fruit, and a protein, which is an egg or porridge, or any kind of cereal, quinoa, whichever one that you prefer, but you must have some fruit, and some oats with it. That is pretty much it. And don't stuff yourself. एक helping लेके उठ जाए. There has to be a stop. थोड़ा सा self
Yeah.
control बड़ा जरूरी है ना आयशा.
People feel
Very, very important.
insecure basically that if they eat less, 3-4 hours later, they're just going to like crash. And I think it's the insecurity out of which, people like have all of these multiple servings even at seri time, something which they wouldn't even do during normal everyday, everyday breakfast. People are not eating parathas, but in seri suddenly
Very,
everybody
हाँ,
wants to
बिल्कुल, you're
eat
right.
parathas
Right.
and like anda. So it's I think the insecurity of like running short of
नहीं,
calories
you
and
know,
fuel.
especially if they are watching their weight and they want to feel healthy because they have to wake up and go to work, so they
Hmm.
need to perform, so they need to have that protein. अगर प्रोटीन नहीं खाएंगे तो ब्रेन कैसे काम करेगा?
True,
सही
true.
तरीके से खाएंगे नहीं तो काम कैसे करेंगे? और फिर यही होगा कि वो मिड डे में जाके चक्कर आने लगेंगे, फिर इफ्तारी होगी, फिर हम फ्राइड फूड से अपना पेट भर लेंगे, वही साइकिल, वही दैट, यू नो, दैट रट इज गोइंग टू स्टार्ट अगेन.
So one of the hacks that I discovered for Seri was having oatmeal with flax seeds, because
लवली.
I read somewhere that oats have this thing that they release carbohydrates very slowly and gradually in the body over couple of hours, which means that if you are eating a bowl of oatmeal at around, let's say, 5 a.m., so you can expect ke wo 1-2 baje tak the 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 nutrition is going to be released in a very timed way, and then
हाँ, it
flax seeds,
keeps you
I'm
fuller
sure
for
you
longer.
can,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you can share the importance anyways of flax seeds. A lot of people I think don't know about
Yes, of
how
course.
good, yeah.
देखिए, फ्लैग. Okay, so I was. Thank you, Aisha. The importance of nuts and seeds is critical. These are healthy fats, and आपको पता है कि फ्लैक्स सीड्स के अगर आप 2 चम्मच क्रश करके, 2
Yeah,
tablespoons of flax seed, and if you just crush them in a little pestle mortar, put them in your oats, and put them in your cereal, chia seeds is very good for your gut. You can soak them in the night, 2 tablespoons of flax seeds, and put them in your oats, and put them in your cereal.
I think there has been a connection issue on Amna's end. Hi, Amna, can you hear me?
Uh,
Hi,
my
Amna.
Wi-Fi seems to be fine. Hi, Aisha. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yes, yes, you're back online.
Okay, so I was saying that flax seeds is very good for blood pressure. So you have to crush them, 2 tablespoons, and put them on your cereal. Chia seeds is very good for your gut. You can soak it or blend it. Either way, if you don't soak it, then you'll get that little crunchy. Walnuts is the best nut available. वॉलनट एंड सोक्ड आमंड्स. वैसे आमंड्स आप खाएंगे तो वो आपको इतना फायदा नहीं देंगे, जितना असिमिलेट नहीं करेंगे, जितना आप सोक्ड आमंड्स will do. You soak them in the night, 7 almonds, and put them in your
Yeah.
oats, and a little bit of honey, and what a breakfast! You will not feel hungry till lunchtime. If you have your breakfast around 8 o'clock, by 12:30 you should be ready for lunch.
And this is
And
a
then
breakfast of
during the
champions. The
sorry.
breakfast that just this is a breakfast of champions. Like I know my grandfather used to have this big bowl of all kind of nuts and oats every day, and even in his late 70s, he did not face any memory issues, and he was
Mashallah.
he was on just on top of his game, and the
Wow.
secret lay in his highly nutritious breakfast. And
Yes.
sometimes I look at diets that young people have today, and we really wonder that going forward couple of years, how are they going to sustain in
They'll
terms of
start
staying
losing, they'll
productive?
they'll start losing their hair, they'll start losing, they'll be forgetful, they'll get a belly that will eventually get them to, at a high risk for type 2 diabetes. Why do they want to do it to themselves? I
Yeah,
mean, why? It's, they need to realize that the time is now. They need to pull back and take control, and they can lose that weight. Everybody, no matter how much you weigh, you can lose your weight in a sustainable, healthy manner if you just follow these guidelines. Or don't get frustrated. होता है, plateau भी आता है, but you'll be able to get there, and it'll be long term sustainable. You'll never have that problem again. You'll be able to go out, enjoy, and do all those things that you do, but you'll be able to get your regain your health back. And I think that's very important that जो हमारे अगर young people are listening, they need to get that toxic element out of their systems, that one toxic friend. They need to cut the cord. They need to stop watching the news, because what that creates stress. You're watching the news all the time, breaking news. Nothing is breaking, it's just a gimmick. और वो देखते हैं तो एकदम आपका स्ट्रेस लेवल जो है वो just cut, delete those apps. And social media, that is a killer. असल mental health को तो social media तबाह कर रहा है. And those
True.
people are not having those beautiful lives that they portray on those handles, let me tell you that. So I think that my lovely viewers who are young and and want to enjoy life, take control now, eat well, because that is what is going to impact your stress levels, your sleep, your movement, your food. It's all holistic, it's all in one little bundle. So get on it now.
Great, great. And I think which brings me to my next question, which is what is the role of diet in long term disease prevention? I know you've already talked about it, but can you give very specific examples, of certain diseases which can be prevented, and we don't have to, later uh, behave in that reactive manner that, oh, it's God's will, and, वो फिर हम सब we go in that blame mentality when something happens rather than actually taking active measures to prevent those sort of things.
Very
So
good question, Aisha.
so what kind of diets can we take, and to avoid what kind of diseases, if you can just be a bit more
Yes, sure.
specific.
So
Yeah.
basically, देखें, for blood pressure, you need. So first of all, you have to look at your genetics. If your family suffers from a disease, or your parents or grandparents, even if your parents don't, and if your grandparents do, it can come from there as well. So you have to start early. You have to think about what they have, and start taking precautionary measures. ब्लड प्रेशर है तो आपको शुरू से ही नमक, सोडियम, you have to reduce the salt intake, and salt intake comes from all the processed food, all your Nimco, all your packaged, processed, anything that comes from a packet is dangerous. Just remember that you can have a little bit, but it's dangerous. Secondly, heart ke liye, it really depends. Sodium is because हम लोग जो approach इस्तेमाल करते हैं, dietary approach towards hypertension and heart disease, it is known as the DASH program. So basically, in that, there are lots of there's a reduction of meat products. There is a increase of vegetables and steamed, grilled, or baked. Movement is key to your health. Bar I'm stressing about the movement part, is that if you're not exercising, you can exercise at home also, but you need to get your heart rate up. कम से कम 10,000 step तो दिन के करें. And leave the watch, that gadget that you have on your arm. With no gadgets, just go out. Even if you stand in front of your window and see the green outside for 5 minutes quietly, your mind will start to meditate, and you'll you know it'll calm your whole nervous system down. When your nervous system is calm, your body is running at an optimal level. So take those 5 minutes. Office, maybe if you have some green space, even a little green house in the middle of the office, just go there, quiet, without the phone, without that ticking watch. Just stand there and just breathe, and hear yourself breathe. Take those deep inhalations, and see how calm you'll feel. Do it. It's the 6 7 8, 6 breaths in, seven pe up, you count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, hold, and then 8 you exhale as much as there is inside. So do this. You can even do this sitting on your desk.
Yeah.
So थोड़ा सा तो एक्शन, थोड़ा सा प्रोएक्टिव होना पड़ेगा. You have to take control. You have to take charge. You can't say that somebody will come and do it. No. And 90% of your food should be home cooked. If you're going to office, take the
That
food from the
that's
house.
a major challenge faced by most working people these days. That her work office may they're just like, oh, let's order this, let's order that. I mean, the concept of actually bringing food from home has almost like gone out of the window. It doesn't exist anymore for most parts. I know
Exactly.
that's quite a generalization, but as far as my experiences are concerned, I see employees either having food in the office cafeteria, or I see them, ordering from outside. And even the food in the cafeteria, I mean, it's not cooked for in most offices according to taking care of your health and everything. It's pretty much laden in like oil. Even uh, the chapati which is there, it's also in the flour and not it's not whole wheat.
Exactly. Naan kha rahe hain sab. Haan.
Yeah, and
They're
and
all
that's
having.
something that they do on a daily basis.
So
So
see, that is a killer there and then. There you
yeah,
go. The more naan you have, the more your belly is going to inflate, and
yeah.
it's going to cause you diarrhea. It's going to cause you stomach cramps. It's going to cause you bloatedness, water retention. Why do you want to go through this? Ghar se roti leke, bring it home. Get it made a night before and bring it in the morning. One chapati and some sabzi. I
Can
don't
you
think that's asking for too much.
Yes, I just require some proactive effort. I believe
Exactly.
on the part of uh, employees, and obviously their well wishers and the family members as well.
Yeah,
So I
absolutely.
think it's a shared effort that way. So can you talk a bit about bloating? I think bloating is an issue which a lot of people face, but a lot of them are not even aware that what they're facing is bloating. So can you talk a bit about bloating and how we can manage our nutrition to minimize
Okay,
bloating?
sure, Aisha. So basically, the thing is that once, suppose that you've had a heavy meal at night, you've gone out and you've had nihari or tikka or whatever, some heavy food. The key is that the next morning, you're not going to take that breakfast until that is fully digested in your system. Pela, this is the first tip. Secondly, bloatedness is when your food is not digested, it's just circling inside your little gut, trying to find ways to get out. That is when you feel uneasy, you feel, you get cramps and you feel that your stomach is a little swollen, right? And it's a very, very uneasy sort of feeling. And I wouldn't wish it for anyone. So the best thing for that is pure ginger, grated, not from the packet, fresh ginger, 1 teaspoon in 1 cup of warm water with a little bit of lemon and a few sips. You have about 2 to 3 cups a day. आप उसको slowly slowly sip करें. What it will do is that you should not eat after when you're going through that that bloatedness feeling. So you should have that ginger tea slowly and gradually throughout the day. तो क्या होगा, by the end of the day your stomach will be calm, you'll be able to go and excrete properly. And if you can't, then there is a herb which is a very special herb. You can only get the pure version at a good spice shop. It's called tripla. I hope you all have a paper and a pencil. It's called, you can google the benefits. it is a it
What's the
is a
spelling
it is
of
a
it?
tonic. Tripla.
Okay.
T Triphala. It's a
Okay.
magic herb. It's good for your cholesterol, it's good for your blood pressure, it's good for your gut, it's good for your constipation, it's good for your bloatedness. But it doesn't taste right. Half teaspoon in 1 cup of warm water at night. Have it for 2 weeks and see the magic.
Great, fantastic. I didn't even know about that. Thank you so much for sharing, Amna.
Most welcome. You're most welcome. Most welcome.
So, last but not the least, can you share some practical tips for incorporating brain boosting foods into our daily diets?
Okay.
Can
So,
you talk a bit more about those specific foods?
Okay, so brain boosting foods, Aisha, are pretty much your healthy fats, which is walnuts, olive oil, avocados, fish, salmon, mackerel, and tuna. Tuna के cans मिलते हैं. You can, make a tuna sandwich at lunch and bring it. Don't put the mayo on it, but just simple tuna and a little bit of lemon and parsley, and it can be a lovely, yummy sandwich. And 1 teaspoon of butter. So healthy fats plus green vegetables, and and red, what's it called, red pepper, like like the green shimla mirch, capsicum, the red capsicum, red capsicum, green cruciferous vegetables like bok choy, like Brussels sprouts, like spinach, like cabbage. These are all the brain boosting foods. Plus olive oil, omega 3. If you can't have fish, then you take omega 3 supplement in the morning, and that should do the trick.
Great, fantastic. I'm sure our viewers are benefiting from all of this great insights that Amna is sharing with us. And yes, there will be a recording of this session available, so you can probably replay it and take note of some of the foods or some of the herbs that she has mentioned. Um so, Amna, if you were to, share your that ending advice for our viewers, especially when it comes to diet and now Ramzan as well, and sleep and everything. Uh, is there something very practical which people can like relate to? What would that be? Your
Okay, so
parting advice.
I'd like to say that take control of your health now. That is the most important thing. Take care of the movement of your, just a few things. Your movement, your sleep, what you're putting in your little gut. Be mindful. Just be mindful of the actions you're taking throughout the day. And just those actions are going to lead to greater health and longevity.
Thank you so much, Amna. So
You're
now
most
we'll
welcome.
just have a couple of questions. So we have a question regarding sleep, that how does one manage short sleep hours during Ramazan? And yes, a lot of people are facing routines in their disruption of routine basically in their sleeping hours. So can you just share some pearls of wisdom from your end?
Aisha, we are all short on sleep in Ramzan. It's just 1 month, and we are, by the time we adjust to it, it's gone.
Yeah.
So yes, try and catch up in the afternoon when you come back, and the best time to, I wanted to mention this to your viewers, is, I'm not talking about specifically about Ramzan, but the best time to take a nap is between 1 and 4. Not a 1 hour nap, just a 10-minute nap. That will completely rejuvenate you. You don't have to go to a bed, you don't have to find a bench. Just put your head down on the bench or on the desk like this, and without your phone, and just take a 10-minute nap. Try it and then tell me. I'd love your feedback, because that will really power you. And it's very good for your health also. आपकी health भी अच्छी होगी, आपका mind भी सही तरीके से काम करेगा, and your skin is going to glow. You're going to have numerous benefits. So let me come back to your question regarding lack of sleep. Yes, this is just that time of the year that where we are all short on sleep. Try and make up in the afternoon. Do some activity, so that will help you. Even that short sleep is going to be a powerful one.
Yeah. And activities is very very important, and
It's
I think
key.
the time
It's key.
before iftar, uh, somewhere between 5 o'clock and between 6:30 is, after all of these years I've realized that this is the optimum time to go out and do some exercise.
Bilkul,
And
absolutely.
if you don't, I mean, the lethargy that keeps on like coming over, because it's like food and then you're sleep deprived and you don't even realize, but you become very unproductive, and you lose 1 month just like that. And it shouldn't be the case, because Ramzan is something which is celebrated throughout the world across all Muslim countries, and not just in
Absolutely.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
uh, and I've seen that routines are not disrupted, working hours are not really like trimmed down to accommodate, and things go, life goes as normal, expectations go as normal. And I think the trick really lies in how you manage yourself, and especially your movement, as you have constantly emphasized throughout this
Yes.
webinar, that for the blood circulation and for keeping your mind active and alert,
You
if
know, your
not for
stress
losing weight.
levels come down 70% if you move.
Yeah.
So imagine your stress is controlled. Everything works well when your stress is controlled.
Perfect, perfect. So I think, Amna, with that, we will bring this webinar to an end. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Aisha.
much for this session. I
My pleasure.
personally learned a lot about different foods, about herbs, and how we can use them, and what to use for what. And I think this is the kind of awareness. We live in a very fast-paced world of
Yes, indeed.
we have this fast food culture which has literally like taken over our lives without us even realizing.
And
And
killing us.
exactly, and this awareness has become a very limited. I mean, people don't even talk about these things anymore for
Yeah.
most parts. So thank you so much, Amna, for
My
sharing
pleasure,
your.
Aisha. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. And
Have a good evening.
thank you. And thank you, our viewers, for being there. The recording of this webinar would be available. And if you want to ask any further questions, just please share your queries in comments, and Amna will find a way to get back to you. Thank you.
All the very
Allah.
best. Khudafis. Bye bye.